Okay, hey folks. Um, I've got the sunglasses on here because I've got circles under my eyes from being sleep deprived all the time. You'll have to excuse the mess in the background here. Um, Here's a cassette in regards to my mother. It's from October, I believe, October 17th, 2013. You'll notice some interesting points. I bring up a person who, what do I tell you? There's a whole story here about the middle of 2009, June 2009, and my parents and girlfriend are a witness to this. They were pre-informed that a very major media figure was going to be murdered. It's on my history tapes, and they were pre-informed about this. And I was saying I think they're going to kill this guy, and I was saying this to my mother and my girlfriend. And what do I tell you? The real story here is I think it was Horvat and our officers. If you ask my mother, well, were you told that this murder was going to be committed with technology? The answer is yes. Same thing with my girlfriend. I think Horvat and our officers were being arrogant and sloppy, which is how they've been the entire time. Egotistical, arrogant. Again, I have an advantage here of knowing Horvat and our officers better than other people here. Same thing with my girlfriend. We know them, we understand them, and that's the point. They're hard to believe at first. They are just so bold-faced in terms of what they do. They don't give a rat's ass. They're just right out in the open, and they just do whatever the hell they want. But the point is, on this recorded conversation, what you're going to notice is that I bring this guy up, I believe, 3 times. You don't hear my mother denying it or poo-pooing it. In fact, in 2012, she brought up this guy 3 or 4 times. Unfortunately, I didn't have a tape recorder for those times. But the point is, you hear me bringing this guy up from the middle of 2009, and you don't hear my mother poo-pooing it because the story's real and true, and she was pre-informed that this guy was going to be killed by, quote, an agency. We all thought it was a different group of agents and that Horvat and our officers heard this through the agency grapevine. And what do I tell you? Based on the time period of 2009, Horvat just putting, quote, voices in my head here. She's being arrogant and egotistical. She thought she's going to shut my book down. She thought I'd never get to the point where I could contact agencies. There's a whole story to that. I had to have my book done in order to push past the technology and be able to call agencies. It's all in the history tapes. But the point is, if nobody else, if this was not heard through the agency grapevine at the time, this was not known about that this was going to be done, particular group of agents, blah, blah, blah. What do I tell you? Then it was Horvat and our officers. And I've got witnesses to this, my parents and my girlfriend. Now, you're going to notice that the sound quality is affected here. I don't know how many minutes this goes on, so I have to have it turned up very, very high so that it records. And then it's going to get loud. This has to do with them affecting the cassette recorder while I was taping. It's not my fault. The information is important, and that's why they've done this. If you think about it, it's really simple and stupid. They're quite deliberately affecting my cassette recorders and affecting the sound quality because they know that if people get to a point where the sound quality is not good, they're going to disregard it and they won't listen to it. And therefore, the important information is people don't even know about. And I got to thinking about this, and I got to thinking, well, actually, they're right. And so it's important that people have to stay focused on the information. I think this goes on for about 10 minutes before the sound quality gets back to a normal level. So what you're going to have here is that it gets really loud. I'll be keeping an ear open here. And what I obviously plan on doing is once it gets to that loud point, I will come and readjust the volume. That said, it may do this several times, so anyhow, here's the phone conversation. It's with my mother, and it's got a lot of important points to it. And I've added points within this It's a recording of the original, and I've added points where needed. So that's it. And here we go. In theory. Just a moment, folks. Here we go. With my mother, who's many points. You don't hear my mom denying things. You hear her listening. Because everything I bring up with her is true and it's real, and it's been spoken about many, many times. And my mother's been a witness very much of this the entire time. At this point, you hear me bringing up this person I killed in the middle of 2009, and you don't hear her constantly arguing about it. Horvat specifically, I'd say in the last 2 months, had her, because of stalking, that's the point, Horvat's misusing stalking for getting my witnesses to deliberately take part in Horvat's cover-up to create soundbites for the lying. The point is, in the last couple of months only, they had my mother act like she didn't know who this person is in the story of this person being killed in the middle of 2009. Yeah, you hear in short history tapes, other tapes as well. The whole point here is my mother actually brought up this individual that Horvat killed in 2012. She brought him up 2 or 3 times, and because she was trying to make a point, and because she was a witness. There's also on my other history tapes, there's a little story here about my telling my girlfriend. And I was saying, well, look, obviously Horvat and her officers, they had us convinced that it was somebody else, a different group of agents back in America with this technology who did it. And, they heard it through the agency grapevine. And in reality, they could reach out overseas with this technology. And I was saying, well, look, obviously Horvat and her officers are the ones responsible. And that's on the other history tapes. But the point is, I was watching and observing my girlfriend. She didn't say anything to me. She doesn't respond to me ever, is the point. But I know my girlfriend, and I was watching her closely. And I could tell, of course, that she reached the same conclusion as me. Obviously, it was Horvat and her officers. Horvat left my parents and my girlfriend as witnesses because they were being arrogant and sloppy and stupid, and they didn't think that they would be exposed at this point in time, even though I was working on my book. This is all on all sorts of cassettes here. The point is, they left my parents and my girlfriend as witnesses, and they obviously did this technology murder. There obviously was no other group of agents back in America with this technology that did it. And my parents are stupid, and they believed Horvat. The same way that the BKI has. The point is, if agents and agencies contact my parents and hear the story, you contact my girlfriend, you're going to realize they killed somebody back in America with this technology. And it was a major media figure. So it establishes media events, heavy events created with this technology that have made the news, and it establishes that they've murdered with this technology. And you hear this in the soundbite with my mother, and you don't hear her denying it. You do not hear her denying it because she was there, and she had contact with Horvat in regards to all of this. This is on my history tapes, so take a look at it. So here's the soundbite, and again, this is from October 17th, 2013. And quite frankly, Horvat is blocking my phone. At times, the phone seems to, it's like my mom picks up, but I can't hear anybody. And I've spoken to her, she's told me the same thing. She can't hear anybody on her end. At other times, I'm sure Horvat is telling my parents not to pick up the phone on specific dates. And my parents don't understand. I'm trying to get through to them, to tell them what Horvat is up to so that Horvat can't get away with doing it. And this is in regards to heavy technology events. So I know Horvat's told my parents not to pick up the phone at times. And then there's also the fact that my parents don't want to get the phone at times also. And it's a combination of things, and I guarantee you, if Horvat needs to, she will affect them with technology to get them to not answer the phone. And that's the last one. I guarantee you they've also done that as well. And if you think that's paranoid, no, it isn't. You contact my witnesses, you interview my family, and you listen to my history tapes, and you realize it doesn't begin to be paranoid. What would the mafia do if they had this technology and were doing the cover-up? Horvat's been given the benefit of the doubt because of her job title, and in reality, she is filthy, corrupt, and dangerous, just like anybody from the mafia. What if I was telling you I'm dealing with a mafia and they have this technology, and then I'm telling you all of this? Well, then you would take it more seriously, because they are looked on in a bad light. And the reality is Horvat and her officers are corrupt and filthy, just like the mafia. There is no fucking difference. They're dangerous. They've killed, and they've killed with this technology. So here turns out I have a soundbite from September 26th. I'm putting that first, and then the soundbite from October 17th. So October 17th is the second soundbite. This is from September 26th, and you'll note here that they got me to forget to bring up with my mother that they're making our bird sick on and off, and that they're threatening to kill our bird. Just impossible. So here's September 26, 2013. And I start off with important information. In other words, I don't put the whole thing here, but the parts that count the most. And this is about Mother Mira. It gets into the big, other things as well. Well, Horvat's been getting away with. Hey, we're going to be going out to Mother Mira's on Saturday. Yeah. And I'm going to try and get in touch with her somehow. The people that live there at the house with her, the devotees, I tried getting a hold of Mother Mira back in 2011. These people are just stupid. And they didn't let me get through to Mother Mira, And because she's one of my witnesses in regards to Horvat and her officers. In fact, Mira knows very, very much. And so I'm going to try and find a way of getting through to her when we do go out. And I've got to speak to her directly. So I got to figure out how to do that. The whole situation is just, oh man, at times frustrating. Horvat and our officers attacked me and Monica and Amber very heavily a couple of weeks ago. Excuse me. A couple of weeks ago. And it was real heavy, and I've been calling you up for years about this stuff, and Mother Mira, and I've spoken to you about how Monica knows, and, of course, over the years here, I've spoken to you about how Monica knows about this stuff. And, German agencies have just been lied to so well. They just don't know that they need to be looking. And I'm getting tired of this because I keep getting attacked very heavily. So I can't even get the information done. I'm going to send you all a copy of my first 2 emails, and you'll be surprised. You'll know there's something wrong. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. Yeah, you take a look at the first email and then the second email. You take a look. It's just absolutely insane that anybody could think that I sent them that second email. So people have not been very intelligent here, and they know that I've been affected, German agencies. Of course they do. But that's the other end of it. They don't realize that they actually need to be investigated. If they interview Monica, Amber, and me, they're going to realize that Horvat's a psychopath. That's without question. She's been doing a lot more than stalking. That's the point. That's why Horvat's been hiding things from agencies in the first place. She knew she'd be in trouble. Yeah. And then that's the other end of it. Horvat really killed our neighbor and did this knife attack out in our neighborhood. It's mother shit. So they're in trouble here, and German agencies just don't realize there's a lot more going on here, and that I've been affected in my emails and videos and cassettes. They don't understand I've been affected heavily for selling lies about me. And then they don't understand that there's actually something going on, and that I'm actually trying to explain what has been going on, and that they need to be investigated. Horvat's killed with this technology, and they don't get it. Yeah, and it's frustrating. I get attacked heavily, and they don't care because they feel that there's nothing to find in the first place, and it's stupid. This person from the BKA screwed up all the way. I've just dealt with dumb people here, man. These people are incompetent. So look, I gotta get going. I got 5:30, but I'm gonna try and get a hold of you because I need to talk to you, and I would like to talk to you before we go out to Mother Mira's on Saturday, so I will be trying to get a hold of you. And I gotta get going. It's late. It's after 5:30 now.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thanks. Bye bye.
Okay, so here's the next soundbite, October 17th, 2013.
Okay, so this is October 17th, 2013. You don't hear my mom arguing about this. You don't hear yelling, kicking, and screaming. You hear her trying to bring up stalking a few times for Horvat, bringing up bullshit for Horvat. You see me just ignoring it and pushing on through. And my mother, of course, I've been like this with my mother, the public, unless I'm being affected for years and years on end. Again, take a look. You don't hear her yelling, kicking, and screaming about points I bring up, because it's all reality. It's all truth, stuff that we've witnessed, and things that have been brought up for years on end here. But keep in mind, Horvat's had contact with my parents the entire time, just like my girlfriend. So take a look. Yeah, I have two pulls. Yes, as a matter of fact, I did. That right there was one of the worst experiences in my goddamn life. That's all relative. I've had worse experiences back in September. They affected me heavily. Monica got me to push.
Well, what do you think going back to the dentist appointment?
I'm going back to have my teeth looked at to check for cavities and stuff. So, that's what I'm going back for. I don't want this experience again, obviously.
Checkup, right?
Yeah, I'm going for a checkup. That's exactly what I'm going for. So, yeah, that was heavy. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time.
The point is, I've been trying to get a hold of her for a long time because they're making our bird sick on and off and threatening to kill our bird. And at this point in time, this was actually the original reason why I was calling up. On October 17th, this was what motivated me into calling her. And they just totally wiped out my memory, and this never came up during the phone call. And that's just totally impossible. I mean, if our bird were sick normally, I would have brought it up with her to begin with. Never mind our bird being made sick and threatened to be killed by agents with technology from the very beginning. And that's on cassette I have labeled Horvat's lies about anger, etc. It's on that. And you also look at the history tapes. There's no way that I wouldn't bring up that our bird was sick with my mother. It was the whole point of me calling her up on this day on October 17th, and the point of me calling her up back in September and trying to get a hold of her. And you don't hear me bringing that up either on September 16th. And why? Because I was being affected. That's the whole goddamn point. And yet, if I were normal here, if I were normal and if our pet bird were just quote normally sick, without it being done with technology, I also would have brought it up with her anyhow. I asked my girlfriend, I was telling her that they're threatening to kill this bird and making her sick, and this was happening on and off, and they would make the bird better after I tell my girlfriend that the bird is being made sick with technology. And I brought this up with her, my girlfriend, repeatedly, and this goes back as far as 2 months ago. And they killed our bird November 2nd, and I have November 17th, 1:49 in the morning. Back to the 7th.
I've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time.
Horvat's been blocking the communications with my parents here. They've been affecting the phone line and preventing me from getting through. And they've also been telling my mom not to answer on certain days and to do it out of stalking. And in reality, my mom's not answering on the days where she needs to be listening. Horvat doesn't want witnesses, and she doesn't want me exposing what she is up to before Horvat does her business here. And it's because she's doing things she's got no business doing, and she's lying in regards to all of it. And this is also on the tapes titled Horvat's Lies About Anger, etc.
I've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time. Yeah, well, also, typically, when I tell you I'm going to call the next day, it never works out that way.
And I say that because Horvat's been affecting me. I tell my mom I'm going to call the next day. Well, what do I tell you? If I tell my mom I'm going to call the next day, then I'm going to. And especially since it's really, really important. That's the whole point. I have a connection here with my mother. It's rare that I get through to her. And so I want her to know that I'm going to call the next day. And then they just affect me so that I don't call the next day. They do all sorts of things. It's impossible for me to say it's one thing because it isn't. But the point is they will affect me, so I never get through to my mother. I never try contacting her the next day. And if you understand what's going on here, then you understand that's impossible. And that's why I say that. Of course, my mom doesn't know about this. I've been trying to get a hold of you for a long time. Yeah, well, also, typically, when I tell you I'm going to call the next day, it never works out that way, so... That was it. And then, finally, rang 5 times here. Sometimes it rings 3 times, sometimes it rings 4 times, sometimes it rings 5 times, sometimes it rings 15 times. Yeah, that's my way, I told you earlier, that's my way of trying to let you know that it's me so that you have a choice here. And you know, it's not showing. You would have been 3 times. Hang up, and then call again and let it ring. Yeah. That's the way it comes through. Yeah, what happens is I get interrupted mentally and it rings more times. I lose track of the count. Or I think also the other thing, which I've seriously considered here, by the way, I've already thought about this, is that I think many times there's like a pause on my end. It's like there's a blank space before your phone starts ringing. And I started thinking, well, maybe Horvat's screwing up our phone here, so I don't hear that it's ringing when it is. So I think it's 3 times, and then maybe it's 4 or 5 times. Because after I dial your number, I get a large blank space sometimes. And I figured out, well, the reason why they're doing this is just to confuse you, because you're looking for 3 times, and then on your end it's ringing 4 or 5, you know? Well, and no, I don't answer the phone when it's 4 or 5, because that's usually a robocall. Okay. Okay. All right. I'm busy, so I'm not going to waste my time, you know? Yeah. I've been very busy lately. Well, yeah. I guess what I'd like to talk to you about is what happened in September here. They affected me very heavily with Monica. Not for me. They affected me very heavily with Monica, and just traumatized all of us, actually. And, you know, I've been through all sorts of shit, and I you know, there's no way I get physically violent with anybody in my family, right? I love my family. And, you know, they are the big blessing in my life. And what do I tell you? It's just impossible. And sure enough, they had to push Monica. This was in September. I think it was September 14th. Yeah, yeah. And we've had some situations since then. Nothing like that. I, of course, posted videos on YouTube. I'm doing agency cassettes here. And, you know, I'm telling the truth about this. But the point is, Horvat held me in with technology for this stalk. She got away with it by lying. You know, she lied. And these people from the Bakia, this German agency, are just absolutely stupid. They think that everything Horvat's been doing has been about the stalking. They have no idea that she killed our neighbor March 2nd back in 2012. I mean, they told me they were going to do it. I didn't believe them because there was no reason to be killing these people. And it just totally, I was like, yeah, right. I told them to go fuck themselves. And then I went out and joined my family for family time in the evening. And then less than 12 hours later, from the very flat, they told me they were going to do this, somebody died. And, you know, you have to be an absolute imbecile to not make the connection. And I know these people from the Bakia, you know, they got their hands dirty with all sorts of shit. In regards to Horvat guy masturbating at the library, they went along with that. Targeting Amber with stalking back in 2003 very heavily. They got away with that. But somehow I seriously doubt they agreed to cheap, senseless killing in regards to our neighbor. And there's some other things as well. I'm trying to put me in prison that one night, the night of the evil ghost. Horvat wasn't playing me in my spiritual movies. I point this all out on cassettes. It's really obvious as well, by the way. And also the killing of Monica's girlfriend's mother, going all the way back to 2002. There's a whole story to that. So these people are stupid. They've accepted very much in the name of stalking here. But the point is, they don't actually understand Horvat's just a total psychopath, totally out of control with his technology. And they don't get that Horvat's actually murdered. That's the thing. They think Horvat's just doing stalking. They've accepted very much Horvat's heavy and extreme behavior in the name of stalking, including when they, almost killed me back in February of this year. And they have no idea. They have absolutely no goddamn idea that I've got real information to give them. And that's the other end of it. This person from the BKA, which is like Germany's version of the FBI, they don't have a flat tap, they don't have a phone tapped, they don't have a computer tap, they got no independent monitoring. It's just going on Horvat's lying mouth.
And by the way, in regards to that, of course, this is not the first time I have said this to my mother. I've been saying it to my girlfriend for years on end and my mother for years on end.
This is what they're doing. And I'm really disgusted with these people from the BKA. This person called the shots is a total moron. And, so they don't care if my cassette recorders are broken. I had to buy 6. That's getting up towards, it's more than $500 in cassettes. Cassette recorders, excuse me. And they've accepted that. Oh, well, there's nothing there. And she's tricking him into thinking that he's got something important to tell us. And this person's a total moron. They didn't double check. For all these years, I was speaking out to you about what Horvat was doing for holding me in the stalking, and what Horvat was doing to Amber and to Monica and me, while I was telling you the truth. This is very important. While I was telling you the truth, Horvat was lying to the BKA to begin with. So these people are just totally stupid. They've been tricked from year one. They've been lied to from year one, and they just continue to believe it. I may print up a copy of an email I sent to a German agency. It was the second email I sent off, and you're going to know there's something wrong with that. You're going to be like, there's no way. The whole time I was speaking out to you about, German agencies are the good guys. I said to you over and over and over, German agencies would want to know. I'm saying this to you in America over and over and over. And the whole point is here, they would want to know. And they've never known. And they've just been going on the fact that they've been tricked all the way here from the very beginning. They've just been stupid. And if you were to see this second email to the Bay of Fowl, my God, if you were to actually see that and to read it, to look at it, you're going to know there's something wrong. I'd always spoken of German agencies being the good guys, yet they believe my first book, The Tone of Anger, is mine. It didn't begin to be. They believe all this anger in my emails to agencies is mine. These people are total morons. My profile has not only been lied about, it's been absolutely balls to the walls, reversed, and Horvat is absolutely laughing at these people. It's not, it's so opposite of reality. To call it lying doesn't begin to be good enough. Look at all these years. I was telling you, it doesn't just look like they're doing a cover-up. They are doing a cover-up. It doesn't just look like they're stopping my book. They are stopping my book. These people are absolute imbeciles. Well, I've been speaking out the truth to you, Mother Mira, and Monica. Even my daughter, once it got to a certain point. The whole point here is Horvat was lying to German agents and agencies. They're absolutely stupid. They have no idea. I'm sleep deprived heavily, like tonight, to affect my ability to get the information done and help. I'm attacked heavily. I go through torture sessions every time I sit down to do goddamn cassettes. I've been working on cassettes since goddamn January of 2012. They affected me heavily. and they got me to send off these cassettes to the Bakia back in March 2012. And then later, Horvat took the technology off of me, and I realized these cassettes were spiked, just like my first book, and just like my emails to agencies. It is a common, consistent pattern, but it goes against all these years of me speaking out to you and to Monica and even Mother Mary. And these morons don't get that they've been lied to in the first place. And they are so incompetent. They don't have any kind of safeties or protocols. They have no independent monitoring to begin with. So I got some sloppy fuck from the Bakia in charge. It feels like he knows because, oh, well, we're all agents here. And we're all doing stalking, and this moron's been lied to from the very beginning. He's a sloppy, he or she is a sloppy fuck-up. You know, I've been calling you up for years about all this sick shit they've been doing to my daughter, you know, and they've had no idea. I've been explaining to you personally, and my girlfriend, you know, Monica, I've been explaining to you and her the computer programs they've been using for holding me in all these years. The computer programs they're using on Amber and Monica and me for all these years. They've never known the truth about any of this shit. And really, you know, I'm just disgusted with this person from the Patreon. This person
talked to Mother Mira.
Did I? Oh, are you kidding me? For years on end? I've talked to Mother Mira for years on end. There are two people.
Just a little while ago, one weekend, I just wondered if you had talked to her.
No. I specifically, I mean, she knows that Horvat is a liar and a manipulator. That one's without question. She knows the truth about Horvat. In fact, you know, Horvat and her officers are scared shitless. They're scared shitless by two people. They are absolutely terrified of Monica because Monica's been here. Look, Monica knows better than anybody. She has been here. She's had the technology misused on her for starting things. She's seen it done to Amber, and she's seen it done to me. The other end of it is Monica believed Horvat and her officers for a long time. She believed them for a long time. And the point is, you know, it's just against odds and statistics here. Over a long period of time, Monica's here with me all the time. It's just a matter of time before Horvat and her officers get caught, you know, bit by bit, point by point. And so, of course, Monica knows the truth about Horvat and her officers, and they're scared shitless of Monica. And the other person they're scared shitless by is Mother Mira. Mother Mira knows that they are absolutely filthy. And I have not been able to get through to her. I tried calling. This is really, really important. I'm glad you asked. I tried calling in 2011, and here's the situation. She lives in this gigantic house. This thing could be a hotel. It probably used to be, actually. But the thing is, she's got a lot of devotees there, people there who lived with her. And the point is, I called up her house in 2011, and this is after I called up agencies, and I was thinking, my God, I've got to get through to Mother Mira. I need her help here. You know, got to wake up people from German agencies. And I got a hold of one of these people living at her house, and I was saying, look, I need to speak to Mother Mira. I was telling her. And this person would not let me through. And I was saying, look, do you think, I said, look, I'm dealing with dangerous people. She is a witness here. I've been calling her up for years on end. And I was saying to this guy, and I know who he is. I recognize his voice. I know who he is. And because we've been out there many times, I was saying to him, I said, look, do you think Mother Mira agrees with murder? He said, no, of course not. And I said, well, you need to let me speak to Mother Mary. And he wouldn't do it. He would not do it. And the reason why is Horvat and her officers had approached him and other people at their house, I'm sure of it, and sold a bunch of bullshit. And this moron, and you know, these people, many of them have their heads in the clouds to begin with. You know, they don't get a goddamn thing about psychopaths. They don't get killers. They don't have any street smarts. They don't even get regular government agents, never mind Horvat and her officers.
Well, they're all people, aren't they?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. To put it bluntly, if you want to, they're blind as bats. They are just, they live on a totally different side of life, and they've been told. They were told beforehand, oh well, he's mistaken, and we've tricked him, and so. And the point is, if I get through to Mother Mira, she knows the truth, and she will help. And I haven't been able to goddamn do it. I've not been able to get through because these imbeciles have been lied to. And these people are like babies in the woods. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't survive Harbor. They could not survive shit I went through in Chapel Hill. Never mind the shit I'm dealing with now. Because they got no goddamn street smarts. They don't get a goddamn thing about hard life. Not the way that I did. And they don't get a goddamn thing about hardcore criminals the way that I do.
Well, you would even recognize Chapel Hill now. But we got a whole new campus. USC North, and they got a whole bunch in this area. You're going to build it.
I'm sorry, I got to stay focused on Horvat here, because I haven't spoken to you in a long time. They shut my book down at Amazon. They got German agencies going along with that. The reason why Horvat has my book shut down, which will do very, very well, by the way, they've got it shut down at Amazon. I contacted Amazon, and the way to have it set up is the only way you can find my book is if you know my name or the name of my book directly. Otherwise, it's not advertised on nothing. It's basically not even on Amazon. I don't know how the hell they did this, but, it has to do with this technology, it's government, so the only thing I can tell you is that they're doing it. The whole story to this is that Horvat doesn't want me having money because she knows I'll hire private investigators to contact all my witnesses and then give the information to German agencies. And Horvat and her officers know that it'll be caught. I could almost laugh about this, but the point is, Horvat, quite literally, has gotten German agencies to agree with this because they don't understand Horvat's hiding something in the first place. They don't know what my real motives are here. They don't get a damn thing. And the whole thing about me selling my books and having money is being able to pay somebody to investigate Horvat. And she's got German agencies to go along with this bullshit. They don't realize that Horvat is shut down my book as a way of making sure that they're not caught. This is how stupid these people are. These people from the Bake Yacht, I've called them up. They've done stalking on the phone. The one time they didn't do stalking, I, of course, was tape recording. I'm not stupid. Of course, I knew even before I called that they knew I was going to be tape recording. So then they're all, this one woman I spoke to is being polite, basically, until the very end. Are these people morons? Horvat had them passing me around from colleague to colleague when I would call them up. They were doing this. This goes back all the way back to November, if I remember right. And this comes from prank calls Ansel and I used to do. We did the National Intelligence Survey. And we would have, at times, we'd have Jamie and Kirk and Andrew there and Finley or Mark or, the whole group. And we would pass people around, and we're doing the National Intelligence Survey, like we're doing a real survey. And I'd say, well, I'm going to let you speak to my colleague here. Here to speak to my colleague. And then they would pass the phone on to the next person, and the next person just makes a circle. And people would be wondering what the hell's going on. Well, Horvat and her officers, they saw this. They liked this. This is what they had to bake out doing. When I would call them up, just pass me around from person to person like a hot potato. And the whole point is, Horvat's just mocking the intelligence of the bake out here. I'm trying to communicate real information to them. And these morons are passing me around so that they don't even listen. They don't even get the information in the first place. Because, hey, we've been here and we know. And these fucking idiots have never had any independent monitoring to begin with. Point and period. No phone tap, no flat tap, no nothing. I knew that they didn't have her phone tapped based on the night of the evil ghost. Period. They would have been investigated. Same thing with her flat. That goes back to a different event when Horvat revealed this technology in 2006. I realized, well, Horvat's been hiding all sorts of shit here she's been doing with this technology, including in regards to affecting me with Amber and Monica. I know she's been lying about this. She's been lying from year one about this. They're affecting me heavily.
About that.
Yeah, I don't know what she knows all about it. She's just stalked. I wasn't surprised, stunned by this. I just ignore her cheap bullshit, and I go right through it. Of course, my mother was there for that, as were both my parents and my girlfriend, and I always ignore shit like this. And Horvat had a computer program set up for bumping out my memory when she said this. Yet you listen to all sorts of sound bites with my mom. I just push past her stalk and bullshit. There's no argument to it. She was there, and she knows that she's just talking lies and stalking you. And, you know, what do I tell you? I'm not going to argue with her. She was fucking there. She knows she was. So I just skipped this bullshit. And what they were doing was bumping out my memory. And I think, honestly, what Horvat was doing was rubbing in my face the fact that I had originally called to speak to my mom about the fact that they're talking about killing our pet bird Lakshmi, which they did on November 2nd. In other words, I think Horvat was rubbing in my face. They wiped out my memory, and I didn't even know it. And you'll hear this on short history tapes. You look at how Horvat does things. You look at how they got me to not realize that Horvat's a psychopath. Even though I was close to figuring this out from the first couple of years here, it's real simple and easy to understand. And then you look at how they misuse technology for wiping out my memory and my girlfriend's memory in regards to Betina's mother and the children, the quote, psychic intuition of children. You listen to my short history tapes. It's real simple. But the point is, I told my mom to do that. And normally, I just skip right past this. Because, of course, she was there. She knows what reality is. So there's no need to argue. I skip it. And then they began bumping out my memory. I've been lying from year one about this. They're affecting me heavily.
About that.
Well, look, the point is, now they're starting to interrupt. Hang on, they're screwing me up. They just did something. They're blanking out my memory. I can't remember a damn thing I was talking about. It's not because I'm tired. No, not the night of the evil ghost. What was I speaking of before that?
I don't know where that.
Yeah, Horvat, right. Right, I knew they didn't have her flat tapped because they would have been investigating. They would have been investigating in regards to her phone. If they had her phone tapped. So these people have no independent monitoring, and I know it. And Horvat's lied about the rules of stalking to you and Dad and to Monica. Monica realizes, of course, Horvat's just totally crossed the line here. Figures it in.
My lady, so she's not lying to me or Dad, because we've never talked to her.
And the point here is German agencies have never known the truth, and because they have no independent monitoring. Yeah, these people from the Media are acting like they know, and because Horvat told them. Horvat killed our neighbor on March 2nd. They did a knife attack in our neighborhood. I mean, this goes all the way back to 2010, February. They communicated to me, we're going to kill you in a knife attack. And it was a guy's voice. I said, these people are stupid. I can pick them out of the voice lineup. This imbecile communicated to me, if you don't stop doing your book, we're going to kill you in a knife attack. They're going to give me a knife in the windows. I told him, I said, I don't care if it's you personally or one of your pissy ants from stalking. I said, I'll kill you, and I'll kill you or your pissy ant, and I'll take their body and drop it off from Horvat's doorstep. I said, then you'll be investigated. Shut up. And 3 days later, on the 5th of February, on Friday, this was communicated to me on a Tuesday, then we had a knife attack in our neighborhood right over by Amber's school. And, strangely enough, Monica only has gone for 15, 20 minutes tops to get Amber from the school. This is only a little bit more than 100 meters away, And strange strangely enough, it happened over by Amber's school. Strangely enough, it happened while Amber and Monica both were over by this location. That's not a goddamn coincidence, you know. They killed our neighbor March 2nd. Said we're gonna do it. We'll kill one of them instead because they're threatening to kill me, Amber, Pets, Monica's parents. And I told them, you know, if you do that, I'll go to the backyard and I'll yell and kick and scream and bang on their doors until they arrest me, and then I'll tell them everything.
How are you?
They're alright. And the point is, next day, dead neighbor from the very flat. They said, okay, well, we'll kill one of them instead. And I thought, yeah, right. Go fuck yourselves, you full of shit. I'm joining my family. And sure enough, 12 hours later, you know, about 12 hours later, a dead neighbor from the very flat they pointed out. There's no being mistaken or tricked about shit. I call you up, I tell you I'm going to kill our neighbor, and then you hear about her being dead, you know, about 12 hours later. You gotta be dumb, just dumb beyond belief to not make the connection. Any Bakia agent as dumb as this asswipe in charge from the Bakia's been, they also would have made the connection. And that person's got only half a brain, you know? There's no being mistaken about this shit. Oh, well, she's a government agent doing stalking. You have to be incorrect. Horvat's lied to German agencies about all the shit I've called you up about for years on end here in the first place. And again, I was calling my mom up about how they've held me in with technology. I was calling up my mom in regards to how I think they are going to hold me in with technology. I was calling my mom up before an end test. I asked my girlfriend about this shit. I asked my daughter. My girlfriend, my daughter, and I, we all experienced being made opposite on the last day of stalking for my being held in. And if it wasn't all of us, then it was two of us, constantly and consistently. And I'd have to bring this up with my mother and my family before an end test to cover my bases here and to save our asses. This made it really difficult for Horvat and our officers. So now what they do is they just block out my mental markers, my memories. They'll get me to forget it's the last day of stalking. And then affect me from there on top of that with high levels of technology. So back to the soundbyte. Horvat's lied to German agencies about all the shit I've called you up about for years on end here in the first place. They've lied about everything Monica knows and everything I've been speaking out to Monica about for years on end also. Same thing with Mother Mira. Horvat's just lied through her fucking teeth. Bold-faced lying. No, nobody's going to double-check because, hey, she's an officer in charge doing stalking. And in reality, she is a filthy, corrupt criminal. And they, in fact, killed our neighbor last year as a way of simply discrediting. It doesn't get more cold-blooded than that. And why? Because they're motivated by the sake of their own asses. I'm not incorrect here. They're absolutely in trouble, just like I've been telling you for all of these years to begin with. I hear my mom saying this is absolutely true. And furthermore, you hear this in other soundbites with my mother. It's undeniable. I was saying German agencies would want to know the truth about Horvat and their officers. And I was saying German agencies would be going after Horvat and their officers if they knew the truth. I was saying this to my mom ever since Horvat revealed this technology in 2006. I was also saying it to my girlfriend. Oh, hello? So back to the set. That's correct here. They're absolutely in trouble, just like I've been telling you for all of these years to begin with. They're in trouble. They're caught if somebody looks. They're caught if somebody contacts witnesses. They're caught. And they simply killed our neighbor. And these are good people, Mom. These people are like salt of the goddamn earth. They're good people. Yeah. And they killed one of them simply to discredit me with a Bakia before I got my information off to the Bakia. I don't know, but I will say this. You're asking me, what did they say the person died of? I gotta be honest with you. I don't know. Nothing was ever said to me about how they killed this person. Yeah, my first guess would be a heart attack. Look at my short history tapes. You get that. I don't know, but I will say this. You're asking me, what did they say the person died of? I gotta be honest with you. I don't know. But I went through denial in the beginning. I was thinking, okay, it's stalking. They got this family to agree to it. It must be a fake situation. She's trying to convince me that they killed our neighbor for discrediting me. This is what I went through in the beginning. And then I started looking at the fact that they did all this shit in 2011. There's some there were a lot of things done in 2011 by them. And the fact that they created this knife attack in 2010, trying to scare me away from their book. Look at them, the situation like the name the person they killed in the middle of 2009. And I'm not stupid here. I'm not going to name this individual. You can figure it out yourself. Horvat's already named this person. I don't care. I'm still not going to do it. And just based on basic principles. Horvat wanted me bringing up, before I contacted the Bay of Fowl, this individual they killed in June of 2011. And they killed this person right before I contacted the Bay of Fowl. And they wanted me bringing this up. They affected me on videos, bring up people they've killed before I'd given the early history here. And again, that's what they wanted. And it sounds really incredible and hard to believe because, wow, it's a famous person. What if they killed a janitor with this technology? What's the difference? It's an illogical thought process, this idea that they've killed a famous person. There is no difference and there is no greater protection. Horvat officers chose killing this particular person in the middle of 2009 because it was so unbelievable and because this person's so famous in the first place. Yeah, if you ask my parents and my girlfriend, did Horvat have contact with me about this? Did they say, there's somebody else who's going to do it and they knew about it? The answer is going to be yes. It's real simple. So, of course, I have removed this person's name. Now, the next point is you don't hear my mother denying this. You don't hear her denying it for a reason. And why? Because she had direct contact with Horvat in regards to this particular person. I was saying, I think they're going to kill him. And I was saying, look at Horvat and our officers here. What kind of people know other killers? Even if it's inside of their own agency, what kind of people know people who kill? You have to be of a certain type of energy in the first place. That was the point I was bringing up with my mom. Look at my history tapes. And as an extra point, I brought this up with my girlfriend in 2012. And she didn't say anything, but that's the other end of it. I was prepared for her not saying anything because she's scared. She's scared shitless. But she was there. She had contact with Horvat and officers in regards to all of this. I was saying, I think they're going to kill this person. And you can see that she reached the same conclusion as me. I said, look, I know this technology can reach out overseas now. You were there. Obviously, Horvat spoke to you and my mother about this person in the middle of 2009. I said, this technology can reach out overseas. I'm sure that blah, blah, blah. And obviously, it was Horvat or officers. I could see the gears spinning in my girlfriend's mind, and based on knowing her, I could tell she reached the same conclusion as me, of course. She reached the same conclusion as me in regards to Patina's mother, because she was there. I was saying to her, I think something bad's going to happen to Patina's mother, and then she died. And pointing out to her the psychic intuition of children, and what do I tell you? There was no psychic intuition of children. She was there.
Okay, so that's it for that part. I've got to flip the cassette over, and of course there is more here. So on to the next video.